Mr. Speaker, to come before this House to deliver a message on the state of the nation is a symbol and practical demonstration of accountability. And I have always treated the occasion with the utmost respect. This address offers us, as usual, the opportunity to provide an honest assessment of our country's situation and seek the support of all in addressing it with hope and confidence. Mr. Speaker, when we make an assessment of what the state of the nation is, it would necessarily have to include what state it was in yesterday, the state it is in today, and what state it will be tomorrow, based on reasonable grounds of expectation.
He reiterated that he himself and many others, including the managing director of the IMF, have said that our economy was doing well until COVID-19 and the war in Ukraine took Ghana off course.
I've said, and many others, including the managing director of the IMF, have said that our economy was doing well until COVID-19 and the war in Ukraine was doing well until COVID-19 and the war in Ukraine took us off course. Maybe because of the severity of the present difficulties, or maybe because it suits their preconceived agenda, some people are unwilling to accept that we were on a good trajectory until the arrival of COVID-19. The Ghanaian people, however, accepted this proposition as evidenced in the results of the 2020 presidential election, which were unanimously endorsed and upheld by the 7-member panel of the Supreme Court.
However, he emphatically stated that COVID-19 funds were not misused.
Dealing with the crisis generally, I did not meet anyone brave enough to suggest the considerations of money should be a hindrance to anything we needed to do in the fight against the virus. I was, and I am grateful that the people of Ghana rose to the occasion, and together we went through the crisis and came out well by defying the doomsday predictions about the inevitability of dead bodies on our streets. I'm grateful that we saw the wisdom in helping each other, and I thank those who contributed their expertise, time, and energy to the fight against the virus. And I thank those who contributed to the COVID-19 fund that was set up to help us meet some of the expenditures. The economic consequences from the pandemic have been devastating. Mr. Speaker, it is precisely because the economic fallout from the pandemic is so widespread and long-lasting that it is important to show clearly that the COVID-19 funds were not misused.
The president explained that it was government that asked for the COVID funds to be audited, and hence assured the House that nothing dishonorable was done with the COVID funds.
Mr. Speaker, it was government that asked for the COVID funds to be audited, and I can assure this House that nothing dishonorable was done with the COVID funds. The responses from the Ministers for Health and Finance on January 23rd and 25th, 2023, respectively, have sufficiently laid to rest the queries from the Auditor General's report, and I believe any objective scrutiny of these statements from the Health and Finance Ministries would justify this conclusion.
These were how the funds were utilized.
We did provide 518 million cedis of grants and loans to micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises through the NBSSI, now the Ghana Enterprise Agency, in which 302,515 enterprises benefited, of which 60% were women-owned. These were MSMEs that were in distrust in distress as a result of the pandemic. For some traders, the receipt of 1,000 cedis made the difference between the ruin of the household and survival. In addition, 58,041 health workers were empowered to supplement the existing health sector workforce. Subsequently, all of them have been absorbed as permanent workers in the health sector. Frontline health workers were also granted 50% tax relief for the period. Was that something to regret? We should be ever grateful for the work that so many people did to keep all of us safe.
The Right Honourable Speaker, accordingly, after the message was delivered, gave this response.
With Standing Order 58, I wish to convey to His Excellency the President the gratitude of the House. Honourable members, again, in accordance with the practice of this House, a formal communication will be forwarded to His Excellency the President after the House has thoroughly debated this address. In fact, the leadership generously decided to use more than a week to debate this address.